Finn's heart raced with excitement as he and his companions descended the Skyreach Mountains, now with the Stone of Wind safely tucked in his pack. The blue stone hummed with an energy that made the air around them feel lighter, as if the winds themselves were gently guiding their steps. Rusty trotted alongside, his tail wagging as if he sensed that their adventure was far from over, while Tilly the Sprite buzzed ahead, eager to explore whatever lay before them. As they made their way back into the valley below, Finn pulled out the worn leather map Aldrich had given him. 2 stones remained: the Stone of Flames, hidden deep within the Emberclaw volcano to the east, and the Stone of Tides, said to be lost in the depths of the Crescent Sea far to the south. "We should head for the Emberclaw volcano next," Finn said, studying the map. "It's the closest, and I bet the Stone of Flames is just as powerful as this." When he held up the glowing Stone of Winds, admiring its soft blue light. Tilly fluttered down onto his shoulder, peering at the map. "Emberclaw volcano? That's a dangerous place," she said, her tiny voice serious for once. "The volcano hasn't erupted in years, but the fire guardians who live there don't take kindly to intruders." Finn's face grew determined. "I'm not afraid. We've come this far, and I know we can do it. Besides, we need all 4 stones to restore the magic." Rusty barked in agreement, as if urging them onward. The journey to Emberclaw volcano was even more difficult than Finn had expected. They traveled through vast, open plains where the sun beat down on them relentlessly, and at night they took shelter under the stars, keeping an eye out for roaming bandits and wild creatures. As they got closer to the volcano, the air grew hotter and the ground beneath their feet turned black and cracked from old lava flows. One afternoon, as they approached the base of the smoldering mountain, they were greeted by an unexpected visitor. From behind a jagged rock formation, a figure stepped out. He was tall and lean, with dark hair and piercing green eyes. His clothes were simple, but he carried a sword on his back, and his face was serious as he studied Finn and his companions. "Who are you?" Finn asked, gripping the handle of his wooden staff a little tighter. "My name is Eric," the stranger said, bowing slightly. "I am a traveler, like you. I've heard stories of a young adventurer seeking the magical stones, and it seems those stories are true." Finn eyed him warily. "And what do you want?" Eric smiled faintly. "I want to help. The world is changing, young one. Dark forces are gathering strength, and if the magic of the stones isn't restored soon, everything we know will be lost. I've been tracking your journey, and I believe we share the same goal." Finn exchanged a glance with Tilly and Rusty, unsure whether to trust the stranger. But something about Eric's calm demeanor made Finn believe he was telling the truth. "All right," Finn said cautiously. "You can come with us. But we're going to Emberclaw volcano to find the Stone of Flames, and it's going to be dangerous." "I know," Eric said, his eyes gleaming with a mix of excitement and caution. "But I'm ready for whatever lies ahead." Together, the 4 of them continued their journey, with Eric leading the way through the rocky terrain at the base of the volcano. The path grew steeper and hotter as they climbed higher, and soon the air was thick with the smell of sulfur and smoke. When they finally reached the mouth of the volcano, Finn could see rivers of glowing lava flowing down the sides of the crater. The heat was so intense that it felt like the air itself was on fire. In the center of the crater stood a towering, ancient structure made of black stone, the Temple of Flames. "The Stone of Flames must be inside," Finn said, wiping sweat from his brow. Tilly shivered, despite the heat. "The fire guardians will be watching. We need to be careful." They carefully made their way into the temple, the walls radiating heat from the molten lava beneath. The deeper they ventured, the brighter the stone walls glowed with a reddish hue, and the air grew even more stifling. As they reached the inner chamber, Finn gasped. In the center of the room, floating above a pool of molten lava, was the Stone of Flames. It was a fiery red crystal, glowing like a small sun, its heat radiating across the chamber. Just as Finn reached out toward the stone, a deep, rumbling voice echoed through the chamber. "Who dares to take the Stone of Flames?" Suddenly, the lava surged, and from it emerged a massive creature made entirely of fire. Its eyes blazed with molten fury, and its body was a swirling vortex of flame and ash. This was Ignis, the guardian of the Stone of Flames. "I do," Finn shouted, standing his ground. I'm Finn, and I've come to reunite the stones to restore the magic to this land. Ignis let out a fiery roar, the flames around him flaring even brighter. You are brave, boy, but the stone of flames is not for the weak. Prove your worth or be consumed by the fire. With that, the Guardian lunged at Finn, sending waves of scorching heat across the chamber. Finn barely dodged in time, pulling the Stone of Winds from his pocket. "I'll show you," he cried, and with all his might he called upon the power of the Stone of Winds. A gust of wind surged from the stone, swirling around him and Rusty, pushing back the flames. Eric drew his sword and leapt into action, using the wind to fuel his strikes as he fought alongside Finn. Tilly, though small, darted through the air, distracting Ignis with flashes of light. But the Fire Guardian was relentless. His flames raged, growing hotter and more intense with each passing moment. Finn's heart pounded in his chest as he realized they couldn't defeat Ignis through force alone. There had to be another way. "Wait," Finn shouted, lowering his staff. "Ignis, listen. We don't want to steal the stone. We want to save the land. Without the stones, the magic will die, and the volcano will erupt, destroying everything." The Guardian paused, the flames around him flickering uncertainly. "What you say?" "Is true?" Ignis asked, his voice softer now. Finn nodded, his eyes pleading. "We need the stones to restore balance. I promise we'll protect it." For a long moment, Ignis stared at Finn, his molten eyes searching for truth. Finally, the Guardian let out a sigh, and the flames around him dimmed. "You are wise beyond your years, young one," Ignis said. "You have proven your worth not through strength, but through heart. Take the Stone of Flames, and may it guide you on your journey." With a wave of his fiery hand, the Stone of Flames floated down from its pedestal and into Finn's outstretched hands. The moment he touched it, he felt its power warm and comforting, like a campfire on a cold night. The fiery Guardian bowed his head in respect before vanishing back into the molten depths of the volcano. Finn smiled, filled with a sense of accomplishment. "We did it," he cheered, holding the Stone of Flames high. Eric sheathed his sword and nodded. "You handled that well, Finn. The hardest battles aren't always won by fighting." Tilly flitted down to land on Finn's shoulder. "2 stones down, 2 to go," she chirped. But Finn knew their journey was far from over. With the Stones of Winds and Flames now in their possession, they had to find the Stone of Tides next. The Crescent Sea awaited them, and who knew what dangers lay beneath its deep, dark waters. With renewed determination, Finn and his companions set off once more, ready to face whatever the next leg of their quest would bring.